So, the Princess of Wales was last seen in public at Sandringham on Christmas Day before Kensington Palace made the shock announcement on the 17th of January that she'd undergone planned abdominal surgery and wouldn't be back on public duty until after Easter. But in response to rampant internet speculation, Kensington Palace reiterated on the 29th of February that the Princess was, quote, doing well, and that there would no longer be regular updates on her recovery. Now, fast forward to yesterday, and a beaming family picture of the Princess of Wales and her children released to mark Mother's Day. It was supposed to put an end to all this speculation, but instead, the picture has plunged the royal family into crisis after multiple news agencies killed the image over claims it had been digitally manipulated. Indeed, it's been pointed out that part of Princess Charlotte's wrist is missing. There's an inconsistency with the zip on Kate's jacket. And there it is. And the patterns on Prince Louis's jumper don't seem to line up. Oh, gosh, scandal, scandal. And in a tweet earlier today, the Princess of Wales came clean. She said, like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing. I wanted to express my apologies for any confusion the family photograph we shared yesterday has caused. But after fueling yet more wild conspiracy theories, tonight I'm asking, is it time for the palace to tell all about Kate? Let me know your thoughts. Email me gbviews@gbnews.com. Tweet me at gbnews while you're there. Go and vote in our poll. I'll bring you the results shortly. But going head-to-head on this, I am joined now by the former royal butler Grant Harold and royal journalist and commentator Sarah Robertson. Both of you, thank you very, very much. Sarah, I'll start with you. Should the palace come clean about Kate?
I think they're long overdue about coming clean, Patrick, about what's going on with Princess Catherine. This has been nothing short of a PR disaster, which has actually turned into something rather sinister. The conspiracy theories that have been rolling now on the internet ever since the palace released that first statement to say that Princess Catherine was having abdominal surgery have just blown out of all proportion. And then yesterday we saw the palace, well, Kate herself released this image of herself. It was a beautiful image of her smiling with the children. It was very happy. I looked at it, glimpsed at it very quickly, thought it was lovely. And, you know, she did that thinking it was going to sort of do enough to deter the naysayers. But however, you can't fool professional photo agencies and people who are working in that governing body, because all these mistakes on further scrutiny were shown up. I think there was nearly 17 mistakes that were shown, which looked to be the case of Photoshop, but very, very heavily doctored Photoshop. And what I would say is, do we really remotely believe that Princess Catherine did this herself and released it in all innocence without Kensington Palace ever having seen it? No, I don't. There's a lot more to this than what we're being told, and this is why they need to come and say what is going on, because yet again, as a result of this, it absolutely smacks of a cover-up, as you've said, and as a result of this, the conspiracy theories are even worse. I'm not going to repeat them, but there's some really, really vindictive, vicious and perfidious things that are going around on the internet right now, not by the press, but by social media, and the palace could not have done a worse PR job if they tried than this. They've just fed these trolls completely, and that's why they need to do something now to put a stop to it.
I'll come back to you. Look, Grant, there's something weird going on, isn't there?
I mean, Sarah's right. It is going to cause more questions than the answers. I think what's difficult, as I've said, the way along, the way the palace work is obviously they do like to kind of keep things secretive, but we've seen recently with the king actually admitting and talking about his health issues, obviously with cancer. I think this is a great turning point. And then obviously we've now got this situation where it appears that Catherine obviously has had surgery, which we know about, but there's obviously something else going on that we're not being told about. And I think what's difficult is William and Catherine, I remember, they are very private. They take their privacy seriously and they do not like sharing things. But I think the difficult thing is when they are now senior, very senior members of the royal family. I mean, they're the next, he's the next king and she'll be queen one day. And the public are worried. I think the problem with this whole situation is people are actually generally getting worried. I'm getting phone calls, messages from friends, family, journalists kind of saying what's happening, because it's causing a lot of concern. And if only there was something they could do. Again, as Sarah said, that picture, I thought the same. I thought, this is great. This is actually showing that she's looking great. She's with her family. But now this has turned into a complete disaster for them. And I think they've got to be really careful with this, because they don't want it spiraling out of control more than it already has, because it will cause more problems for them.
Sarah, what would you say to people who go, look, just back off, stop this morbid fascination with Kate. She's obviously not well. Leave her be.
It's not the press that's doing this. The press always gets unfairly blamed. This is people on social media themselves. This could be one of your colleagues. This is what people are talking about, is those water cooler moments. They're talking about it all the time. When I was in the newsagent this morning, some Chinese tourists came in and they went straight to look at a copy of the Sun newspaper, and they were pointing at Kate and chatting away and asking questions. They didn't buy the paper, by the way, but they were obviously wanting to know and look at the picture themselves. So it's garnering so much attention from around the world, and it really casts the palace in such a bad light. Look, we live in an era now which is the era of artificial intelligence and deep fake photography, and it's very worrying going forward for all heads of states around the world for this. It's a very sinister technology, and this is why the photo agencies pulled the picture last night, because they weren't getting a response from the palace, Patrick. They were getting no information. There was no communication. They were left floundering all night, so they didn't know if this photo was a deep fake photo because of the number of the amount of photoshopping and editing that had been done to it. They'd never seen something like that before. So because of that, they had to pull the picture, because they thought this picture's fake. It's actually been put out, not by the palace, but it's been altered with, and we can't put that out. Our reputations are at stake. They have to be seen to be professional and honest and trustworthy and have integrity. But those are the very things that the palace is meant to be doing, is to be seen as trustworthy and integrity. At the end of the day, they're public servants. They serve us. I'm a huge fan of the royals. I'm a massive royalist. This is just a warning that they need to play it carefully and more safely going forward in the times that we're living in right now. And that means being more accountable and getting the trust back of the public, because the public now aren't believing what's being fed from the palace. They're not believing it. They want to see with their own eyes, and that's why they need to release the original photograph and show just what was the original photograph.
So you think they should release? That's interesting. You think just release the original photo?
Yes.
I mean,
what's there to hide, Patrick? What's there to hide?
Well, there you go. Grant, I'll throw it your way now on this. I mean, what I can't understand is there would be a massive outpouring of love and support for Kate if she did come out and say exactly what was wrong with her. I can understand initially why not, but we are where we are now, and this absolute mess has happened, hasn't it? And so this implies to me that there's something a little bit sinister going on. You know, what could it possibly be that would be holding this back? That she would get nothing but love if she came out now and said what was actually going on, surely.
This is what I don't get. And interestingly, I actually agree with what Sarah's just said about why can't they release the original photograph, because that would just get rid of all these kind of theories, if they actually gave the image. There is obviously something going on. I think we all agree on that, but what that is, nobody knows. And I'd like to think that the modern royal family would actually want everyone to kind of know. I get they obviously want to have privacy. Of course, I understand. I think we all agree that everyone is entitled to that. But I think we're all aware that something's wrong. And just to give us a bit more of information, as you said, people would support her. Everyone's going to be there wanting to support her and whatever it is, and to help her get through that. And I think this is what's difficult, is it's a shame that they don't feel they want to do that, because she is thanking everyone for the continued support. She's aware of that. And, of course they'll be aware of what's been said. And it's also going to be quite hurtful, because they will also read the negative comments as well. And so I don't know if it's them. I don't know if it's the palace, because, we all know what the palace can be like. And when they shut down, the palace shut down. So it could be that they're being told by the palace not to give the information, not to say anything. This is the problem. We don't actually know where it's actually coming from.
So there's the potential there that they are maybe being blocked from higher up the royal food chain,
Possibly.
as it were. Yeah. I mean, it is the mind boggles. But both of you, thank you very, very much. Really informative stuff there. So, look, who do you agree with there, OK? Is it time for the palace to tell all about Kate? Jeannie on X says, it's none of our business. It was a photograph she touched up. It's not like she shared state secrets. Khan says, Can't really say I really care, but it seems that not telling all is doing more damage and fueling more speculation than simply coming clean, so probably yes. Sean says it's time for Kate to tell us about Kate, not the palace. Well, your verdict is in. 33% of you think it's time for the palace to tell all about Kate. 67% of you say it's not. Really fascinating results, that, isn't it? You know, it is one of those things when these things come out, though, you know, and you look at the mistakes that are happening, and very unfortunate situation. We have to contrast it with the debatable oversharing with our king compared to the undersharing of Kate.